Hello, everyone. My name's Tony D'Amore. I'm a senior colorist here at Picture Shop. We are part of Streamland Media, which is a worldwide company that specializes in post production. I was amazed, honestly, with the new Alpha 11 processor. It was just, for one, we no longer see any of the banding in deep colors. In the past, what I would have had to do is normally pull back on color saturation to protect for that. And then now I know that we can push those colors further than we have in the past. It's great to see the extra highlight detail and minimal color fringing. Normally would have to use a soft clip on the highlight, which will also suppress some of the chroma and lamps and other practicals on set. The fact that the TV can display so much highlight detail makes the end result so much better because I'm not having to roll off a highlight so much. What I've seen with the Alpha 11 chip is the TV can now display far more colors than we ever have before, which gives us even more creative room to push that ceiling even further. The chroma and richness of the image was more than we've ever seen before. On a show like the Pitt, because we're in the same location a lot, we want to prevent color fatigue. And meaning, what I mean by that is it's a neutral set and we move around very quickly through these sets. I have to have a very uniform, like even panel. If I see shading where I don't have uniform colors, it might affect the way I color balance. And having good color balance on screen is crucial to matching the three cameras they're using on set. And having really rich, deep blacks is very important as well, because otherwise, with there's so much top light on that show, if we didn't have grounded blacks when we came across the brighter scenes, especially in the trauma areas, you'll end up getting washed out without good, rich blacks. And I think more than ever, the Alpha 11 chipset is really like keeps the show grounded. I really encourage people to watch it again with the new Alpha 11 chip and with the G6, because when we graded the show originally, we always had the limitation of the bright snow against the deep shadows. Automatically, we're going to get a little bit more lifted black. And then more than ever, you're going to get to see those rich, dark blacks that were intended to have in the first place. And just in general, the rich colors we were able to get out of the new G6. I would really encourage people to go back and watch Fargo again. A brighter TV allows you to have more contrast. And then from the deepest shadow to the brightest highlight, if we have more range between there, you bring out colors that you wouldn't have otherwise seen. And the brighter the image, the higher the contrast, and the more vivid the colors are going to be. So the Alpha 11 chip and the new chroma possibilities push the limits further than it ever has before for a great viewer experience. The biggest challenge we have with television nowadays is we do an HDR grade for high dynamic range, and then we do a standard dynamic range. And starting with the highest dynamic range possible gives us so much more latitude when dealing with the SDR, and allowing the peak brightness we now get out of these G6 televisions, allowing people to see even the most subtle shadow at the same time as seeing even the brightest highlight. Having seen the two together is often you have to have a compromise somewhere. And with this new TV, we're seeing the least compromise we've ever had to have in a color grading suite. Unfortunately, most TVs claim they do wider color gamut than they can. And so if I keep it limited to P3, we're going to have a uniform look across every manufacturer's television. Big benefit to the Alpha 11 G6 TVs is we're now getting more than ever, getting these within P3, the most rich saturated colors with minimal banding and excellent highlight detail along with gray shadow detail. And then knowing that a lot of TVs are limited to P3 colors, they're getting the most out of their televisions now. I'd recommend going back and watching the Marvel's Defenders series, because we pushed those colors so far back then, but when we did the shows, we were limited to narrower color gamut and limited to different technology. And with the Alpha 11 G6 TVs, I think they're gonna see colors that we originally intended to have back when we were grading the shows, more than ever. Daredevil with the deep reds and Jessica Jones with their rich, rich blues.